A couple of years ago, we looked at what irons the top pros in the PGA Tour were playing. So as the close season approaches, and we've all got some time to review our clubs and setups, in this video we take another look at all the irons the top 100 PGA Tour pros are using. Firstly, to discover the most used iron brand and most popular individual set of irons, find out how many of the pros are using cavity backs or blades, before finally seeing what has changed since the last time we carried out this analysis 2 years ago. Welcome back to the Golfing Focus channel, everybody, and as part of our ongoing series of videos looking at what's in the bag of the best pros on tour, we're going to take a run through the iron setups of the best players in the PGA Tour to see what they're playing with. So after this video, please check out our overall video where we go through the entire bag to reveal what the most popular 14 clubs and setup are amongst the best pros on tour. But getting straight to the irons, our analysis found Titleist are the most played irons by the top 100 on the PGA Tour, with 29 using them. Callaway, Ping and Strixon irons are each used by 14 pros, with TaylorMade played by 13. PXG irons are chosen by 5, with Wilson used by 4 players. Analysing the iron setups of the pros is not as straightforward a task as it used to be. And the simple reason for that is there are now so many more options for golfers when it comes to making up their set of irons and clubs in general. In the modern game, it is becoming increasingly apparent that the top pros on tour are seemingly getting closer and closer to almost choosing each iron individually and not as a set. Many of the top PGA Tour players, for example, are now carrying hybrids or 5-woods or 7-woods in preference to long irons, while others are opting for utility stroke driving irons. So for a good number of pros today, their standard iron set is starting with a 5-iron, or even a 6-iron in the case of 2023 British Open champion Brian Harman. Irrespective of this though, we were still able to put together a complete breakdown of the irons used by the top 100 golfers in the PGA Tour to find out what are the most placed irons amongst this elite group. And Titleist T100 irons are the most used irons by the top 100 PGA Tour pros, with 20 playing them. Titleist 620 CB irons are the next most popular, with 9 using them. Strixon's ZX7 models are chosen by 8 pros, with Callaway's Apex TCB model played by 7. Ping's iBlade and TaylorMade's P7TW irons are those brands' most used models. When we did this analysis a couple of years ago, Titleist was again the dominant iron brand, and given now their iron sets occupy the top 2 most popular iron slots among the top 100, ahead of all other irons, suggests a lot of the top players in the PGA Tour consider them to be the best. PGA Tour pros are of course very particular about the irons they play and are forever tinkering in an effort to find that little bit extra that will help them score lower. We therefore found the top 100 PGA players using 12 different brands and 55 different models of irons from all the top manufacturers, including Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade, Strixon / Cleveland and Ping, to newer and smaller golf brands such as PXG, Wilson, Mizuno, Cobra and Miura. Some of the top 100 we also found unwilling to give up irons made by Nike, even though they pulled out of the irons market and stopped making golf clubs a few years back. The top pros are very particular when it comes to their irons, but for now it seems there is a bit of consensus among them that Titleist irons are a bit better than the rest. When it came to looking at the cavity back versus blades question, our analysis showed 65 of the top 100 PGA Tour pros use cavity backs, and that number rises to 88 when taking into account the players who use at least one cavity back iron in their mixed set. Just 12 of the top 100 only use blades, with 35 in total using one blade or more in their set. None of this elite group, however, uses a blade iron lower than a 4-iron. Analysing these numbers, therefore, it is clear that the majority of even the best players in the world choose the extra forgiveness and distance which is afforded to golfers using cavity back irons. And compared to the numbers we found the last time we did this analysis 2 years ago, even fewer pros are using only blades, with the number of players only playing blades dropping from 20 to 12 over that period. Our analysis of which pros are using cavity backs and which are using blades again also threw up a clear trend amongst the top 100 in the PGA Tour, and that is the mixed set of irons that many are now choosing to use. Long gone are the days when the pros would have a consistent iron set from a 2 or 3 iron all the way through to pitching wedge. And today it seems clear that the best players in the world are looking at almost every individual iron to see if there is a better alternative. We found 42 of the top 100 PGA Tour pros, up from 27 a couple of years ago, are opting for a mixed set of irons, where they use more than one iron model, and indeed some of them are actually using 3 separate models of irons. Cameron Young, for example, uses a cavity-back Titleist T200 4-iron and 620 CB5 iron before choosing 620 MB blade irons from 6-iron through to 9. This trend of opting for more forgiving cavity or hollow head irons for longer irons before choosing blades for shorter irons seems to be a clear one in the pro ranks, and as such we can see again that the question about which irons the pro use is not as clear-cut as it once was. And when you add driving or utility irons into the picture also, the idea of the mixed combo set becomes even more evident, as in addition to the 42 pros we noted who have an identifiable mixed set amongst their standard irons, a further 22 players add a 2, 3, 4 or even 5 utility iron to their bag. So if we consider driving irons as standard irons, we can see close to 2/3 of the top 100 players on the PGA Tour opt for a mixed set of irons. We put utility irons in a comparative bucket with hybrids and high-numbered fairway woods, and you can see what individual driving irons the top 100 are using in another one of our videos. But what is also fascinating to see among the best players on tour is the multiple different combinations of numbers of irons they carry in their bag. While 10% of the top 100 on tour stick with the traditional 3-iron to pitching wedge iron setup, including Tony Finau and Billy Horschel, there are 2 more popular setups within this elite group. 42% of the best 100 on the PGA Tour prefer to start their iron set with a 4-iron and carry irons all the way through to pitching wedge, while 28% choose instead to use a 4-iron through to 9-iron before switching to specialist wedges. These percentages are again up in a couple of years ago when we found 29% choose 4-iron to pitching wedge and 22% played 4-iron to 9-iron. So it seems an increasing number of the best pros on tour are settling on one of these 2-iron setups. Taking all this into account, one thing seems crystal clear therefore when looking at the iron setups of the top 100 players in the PGA Tour. There is no longer such a thing as a standard set of irons. So that's it for this look at the iron setups used by the PGA Tour pros. As ever, and most importantly, we hope you're enjoying your golf. And if you like this video, please tap in one of those boxes on the screen and we'll see you over in another one.